Hi, this is Gina Bartlett here. I'm here to talk about some content instruction for secondary level teachers having to do with some literacy strategies for comprehension. We're looking at a math vignette here by Mr. Molina. What he did was he had a lesson for some word problems, strategies for his students. He had some word problems coming up and he didn't quite think that his students were going to be able to comprehend those. So he did build some background knowledge and some into the comprehension instruction. And the very first thing that he did was he started working on some vocabulary with his students, having to do with data analysis, 8th grade, mean, median, mode, and range. So he got them familiar with those words before having them read the full word problems. And then he started to do some reciprocal teaching strategies where the students are really active and in charge of their own learning process, and he kind of helps guide them through it. So the first thing he did was the vocabulary, and then what he did also that I really liked and I feel very strongly about is he started to consult his colleagues on the topic. And I think that this really helps when you consult your colleagues on the team and other teachers that the students work with. It will help build some connections and foundations where the students are seeing some of these strategies over and over throughout their different content level courses. So if you're working on a content strategy, let's say we're doing webs and they see it in their art class and then they see it in their language arts class and then they see it in math class. They're going to be revisiting the same kind of concept and applying it in a slightly different manner, and I think that this really will set them up for success because they're re-seeing it over and over and practicing it in slightly different ways. They're becoming familiar with it and practicing it in different kinds of settings, which helps them get stronger at that comprehension strategy. So I like that he did that, probably asking, well, what kinds of strategies are the other teachers working on, or is there any kind of similarities? And I like that cohesiveness for those students. I think that really builds for success. So he did the vocabulary, he consulted with his colleagues, which is so critical. And then what he did was very beginning of his little lesson there, he explained the purpose of this, why are we doing this, and what's the purpose. He did a lot of writing on the board as he explained, which is very helpful for students of all different kinds of learners, visual and auditory learners. So as he's explaining, he's writing it up on the board, explaining it, getting them familiar with that. He uses their school as an example when he's starting to pose his questions. He uses their school as an example and talks about teachers driving and the mileage in their commute. And so students are building upon, they already know these teachers, they talk with them, they speak with them daily. And I think he maybe could have gone a step farther, not just mentioning the teachers at the school, maybe incorporating their actual names. Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so are driving from this place or that place, and starting more with what they already know and who they know, and that gets them excited. They know the people and they're familiar with them, and it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable learning something new. So I think that was great. He uses familiar people. It's a good strategy. He also gives his student resources. If they're having trouble, he says, here are the places that you can find answers. He says you may use each other, your peers who are right there. You can use the textbook. He says dictionaries, graphic organizers, these are all really excellent resources. So if there's any students starting to get into those problems and they're just not quite sure, he's telling them, here's many different places that you can look to find answers and get help. So I like that. At the very end, he summarizes and asks the students to restate in their own words. I think that's fantastic for comprehension because paraphrasing, we do it all the time. If someone's talking to us and we kind of restate what they said, it really helps us remember and understand and helps the brain process. We do it all the time. If you have to remember a name or certain information, if someone tells you something and you restate it back, it just really helps for clear communication so everybody is understanding what is being said. And also when the kids are hearing their peers say it, it's a little different. It's in their own language. They can have a teacher say the words and they hear it one way, but maybe when their peers and their friends are kind of rewording it in their own little 8th grade language, it might help make some connections. So I think that's very helpful too. So those are all the things that our friend Mr. Molina does to help his students prepare for these word problems that are coming up and help them with their comprehension. As far as my own current level and how confident I feel, this is all very new to me. I'm an art teacher. There's not a whole lot of reading and textbooks and comprehension questions as far as reading goes. So this is all very new to me. I'm very excited about it. So I feel I'm a beginner, but I have confidence. I know that I'm going to begin to practice and start to incorporate all these skills that I'm learning, from the textbooks in this class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it. I'm going to practice it in my classes, and I'm going to refine it. I'll see what works, what doesn't, and think about why, what's working, what doesn't, and just keep doing it and refining it, and talk with other professionals within my the schools that I work in, or maybe the schools that my children go to, some of the teachers across the different contents about the subject. Talking with other professionals is really good to see what they're doing, what's working. Maybe in my professional organizations too, the National Art Educators Association. There's many times we have conferences and stuff. I meet other teachers, or even online, and I hope to do my own online researching too as well, asking questions and teachers, and I just hope to learn more and just keep practicing, and I look forward to using these strategies. So that's about it for me. So thank you. Have a good night.